a video I'm going to put up tonight as well about an emergency meeting in Russia and how Kerry, the State Department, is over there talking to Putin, and then they flash back to the US and spokesman there, the PR agents, deny it all initially and then go back and forth denying it and agreeing with it and denying it. And so, I mean, how can grown adults behave like this? And yet we're fed it from the day we're born, this tripe on television. Doesn't matter what country you're in. And everything that comes out of anybody's mouth for any institution, right down to your local police force, is always a public relations expert, which means they're going to lie to you. So why would you ever expect the truth? That's what astonishes me. I've never figured that out. Why? I mean, they say hope springs eternal. Is that what it is? One day, I'll wake up and people who are in charge of everything will tell me the truth. And be awfully nice. Thank you. I mean, do you really believe that's going to happen? I don't think there's ever been honesty when it comes to power and ruling nations, or even tribes for that matter. Well, tribes got more chance of getting honesty if it's a small enough tribe. And once you start hereditary chieftains, forget it, because they can then use an army and keep you in your place, basically, and keep themselves in that place too, and their descendants. You know, especially if they create a money system, they can hire the goons that form the army to protect the king and all his relatives from all of you that are getting taxed into the dirt. So, you know, there's never been really truth told about anything. It really hasn't. You know. And it never will be. I mean, whole careers, imagine getting trained for a career in professional lying to the general public. You know, quite something, eh? Adults doing this. Every child is born and comes into the world, and the parents start off, now tell the truth, Johnny, tell the truth, you know. You're lying? You're like, no, I'm not. Oh, you are. Tell the truth now. And here's degrees given to people who are trained as professional liars, who lie to the folk who supposedly are the government, especially in the US. This is the biggest thing for me. I mean, the US, they believe that they are the government. That what a schizophrenic attitude to have, right? That the people are the government. And they have the right to get rid of that particular government if you see a deviation in those who are elected to govern, you see. But remember, the people who are elected to govern still only can act within what the people supposedly, who are the government, want. But you never see that, do you? The schizophrenic thing is, yeah, they've all got rights, you see, and they are the government. But every newspaper article never mentioned, there's none of them mentioned the fact that they are the government people. And that the representatives are there, wherever they happen to be. They're not leaders. They're elected representatives to represent the people, you see, who are the government. The people are the government. But every article you'll ever read is just like the British one or any European one, who never had a war of independence, you see. And the papers always say the leaders of America or the US, the leaders of that are meeting with leaders of Britain. No, it's supposed to be, as far as I can figure out, you see, from my studies and things, that the US would come down with a ton of bricks if you say leaders. They're your representatives, because the people are the government. And that any representative is there to tell other ones who have never had freedom as such, leaders of countries, what the people want and back at home in their country. I've never seen it in my lifetime. Have you seen it? You ever seen it portrayed the way in my newspaper, the way it's supposed to be? No, and you won't. Don't hold your breath, because you see, everybody has been perfectly psychologically taken care of with perception management and in total indoctrination. Why do you think they gave you the cult of the personality in the US? That wasn't always like that. Not at all. In fact, Adams and some of these guys, the new Washington, didn't like Washington at all. But they stood together because they're all Masons and would vote on the same things, supposedly for the good of the people in the country. But since then, Hollywood again has made the personality cult. You got Lincoln too. He's a superhero, for goodness sake, and all that kind of stuff. Until you end up with whichever one that they've lauded up to the very, very top. But each one is supposed to be a representative of the people, who only is supposed to go along and demand and say what the people want. When have the people of the US ever been asked what they think about anything in an official capacity? I mean, the only country that had the same kind of thing on the go, the same kind of thing on the go, is Switzerland, where anything at all that say Europe or any other country wants from the people of Switzerland must be put to the people of Switzerland by those they've elected to their government. It must be that way. Anything that will affect you, financially or any other way, has to be put to a public vote. A public vote, you see. And it doesn't matter what any supposed elected representative wants, which is different from the public, he has to go along with the public. That's the law. That's how it's supposed to be in the US. That's how it's supposed to be. But you'll never see that in the papers. But the schizoid attitude of the people in the States who literally, it's beyond, it's triple speak. It's not just double speak like George Orwell talked about. It's triple speak. You know, they can believe this and all contradicting each other, but they can believe it all at the same time. Isn't that something? Boy, I tell you, you think that everyone's out there, as I said before, for your enjoyment, eh? Cradle to grave. Everyone's out there to keep you happy, sucking your thumb, etc., until you die. Rather than let you be independent, completely independent, as best as you can possibly be in life, and secure as best as you can possibly be in life. You can't have it all. If you want to be dependent, you cannot be a free person. Now you've entered an agreement. If you want to be dependent on like a socialist type system, now you must agree to that system and everything it will impose upon you, and what it's going to restrict you from doing, and so on. How can you have all ways? Yeah, you can't. Yeah? But there you go. And yeah, sure, the money system's totally manipulated too. It's a main source of maintaining a form of power. Now, all these characters who do, the professional liars who go to university and that, they're paid well, awfully well. Everyone's down to money. And those who run all the money system also get them into the right positions in life, you see, because they're useful tools. Well-paid, useful tools. And that's a sad comment too, isn't it? Awfully sad that from time immemorial, it's sad there's always a segment that'll they'll basically poop in everybody, folks, to get ahead themselves, to get on in life. Every nation has them. And these are the simple ones are the bought henchmen to protect the guys at the top, regardless of what kind of era it is or the system it is, or they protect them. They'll do the dirty jobs. They'll torture and slaughter and so on, and terrify the public into compliance. All that kind of stuff in every era, all the way up to the ones who are awfully good. Again, the trained ones who are awfully good and persuasive to the public, and different categories of them too. You see. Bought and paid for, and they're given, the doors are open for them. If they've been well and truly tested, the doors open to them to get into the right clubs and everything else where they're well taken care of, and they're given lots of prestige, and they have extra privileges which the general public don't have, you see. The system is pretty well total. Really is. And the money boys literally can make anything happen, since it's all a con game in the first place, and a numbers racket, isn't it? It really is. But when you think of beware of foreign entanglements, things like that, and then you have to go to wars because you've signed a treaty, maybe years and years ago, with some little country somewhere, and you must, never mind the cost in lives that you're going to dispense with, and all the profits to be made from wars, incredible profits. But that's what we live in, isn't it? This double think and triple think, and totally conditioned, you see. And as I say, I mean, you're going to get involved in lots of slaughter, and that, because, and never mind the debt, so that generations after you will never be the same either. They're in debt, they're slaves, because someone signed something somewhere. Really, eh? Isn't that madness? Especially when you're dealing with people within all countries, it's often international groups, you see, who are scattered through all these countries, but they're still like a club themselves, who also want war for a different reason that you'll never even find out most of the time. So, really, you should be awfully, awfully careful when people who are supposed to represent you, even though they never asked you, it's okay if you go over there and sign this treaty, do these kind of things and sign you down to absolute conflict. And you'll never even get the reasons why they start. You'll never get the truth there either, you see. Never. That's unfortunately the world we live in, isn't it? Isn't it really sad? Isn't it awfully, awfully sad, that? But that's the way it is. The hardest thing to find, and always will be, is truth. And you'll never find an honest politician, for goodness sake. Right? In fact, you'll never find, again, anything coming out of any government department through public relations experts, because they are professional liars. That's what they do. Ah, dear, eh? Yeah. And yet, we'll go off and fight wars and that, because we live in a free system. There you are. I think we live in an insane asylum. I think that's what we live in, to be honest with you. And very few folk can figure it out. That's where you are. Well, really, that's about it. I hope the weather breaks again, because they're calling for more and more thunderstorms. And I had one decent day yesterday, just one day, and actually the sky was blue. Blue. Do you remember that? And it was blue, eh? And there was no trails anywhere to be seen. For a change. We're so used to them that we kind of miss them. We think they're normal. It can make you afraid, eh? Where's the trails? Oh my God, is something wrong? Did they run out of financing to get us sprayed today? What happened? Isn't that the way of it, eh? And you think what they're telling you in the papers is all real stuff, when you can't even get a normal sky. And then they'll tell you, if you notice it's all sprayed, well, you see, that's big CO2 streaks there that are man-made by you guilty people. You're going to pay for that, they'll say. Yep. Everyone's been thought of. Yep. And very shortly they'll say blue sky. The guy said blue sky. There's a blue sky. Or that, and then they'll teach the children that's a colour of pollution. When the sky is really, really blue like that, that's pollution that causes that. Your pollution. You're going to pay for that too. That's what we live in, folks. That's what we live in. Quite something, eh? I've got to get books printed. I've been loathing to get into town and stuff like that, because half the time I wasn't fit enough and well enough to do it. But I'm going to try to do it shortly. Plus, there was a threat of the post office going on strike. Well, it wasn't a strike, sorry. They're having negotiations. They got a lockout sort of thing. But they're back to negotiating again too. So things are kind of up in the air, but I'm going to definitely try again and get all the stuff and get it printed. Anything that's way behind, I'll get them sent out when I can. Thanks very much. And from Hamish, myself from Ontario, Canada, it's good night, and may your God or your gods go with you.